okay? Because this video right here, and get ready, because we are going to place wagers on this video. This is Michael Knowles, loser face. What? University pushed mandatory white fragility classes. Now, the poll could be, actually, this is racist, okay? The poll could be, will Michael say the word woke? The poll could be something like, I don't know. He could make a joke about the N-word, just at all. Like, so something like that. Something that you could have an informed opinion on. Anyway, so this is Michael Knowles. What? University pushed mandatory white fragility classes. So we'll wait for the poll to go up, and then we'll start the video. He's going to pee himself and not even like, I don't know. Michael Knowles is not ideal. What is the middle flag? Okay, so the flags that we have, again, the flags that we have today, we're flying high and proud, is, of course, we got the non-binary flag up top. We got the gender fluid flag in the center, and we have the trans flag at the bottom. So gender fluidity is the answer. How many other people in this video will waste the opportunity of their blazer by not wearing a turtleneck with it? True. Predict channel points. Will Michael say the word woke? Will Michael say the word woke? This is, you only got 5.5 minutes to get through it. So let's see if Michael Knowles will say something dumb and like the word woke. White fragility classes. Let's see what happens. Let's talk about it.
The left knows that it is greatly to their advantage to increase racial consciousness.
It's to their advantage to increase racial consciousness.
For their likely voter groups.
It's interesting. Racial consciousness, by the way, is not like you're a certain race. You're not white. You're a race. Look at this race you are. Racial consciousness and the conversations in lefty spaces about racial consciousness are this. Acknowledging any situation where someone is mistreated either systemically or currently, or whatever, however it manifests in whatever time period. If someone is treated negatively based on their race within society. For instance, obviously in America, we have a long history with mistreating people with dark skin negatively. And they don't have to be like black people. It could just be a dark-skinned, like Pakistani individual. It could be a particularly tan Mexican. It could be a real tan, I don't know, a person of Asian descent. I have no idea. Polynesian. This happens a lot. They are othered very quickly, and it's all it is. The entire practice. It isn't to like divide on racial lines or anything. Literally, what the practice is hey. You might not experience this as usually a white person, but I mean, like, people that aren't black can learn black experiences. People that aren't Asian can learn Asian experiences. People that aren't Mexican can learn Mexican experiences, or just Hispanic in general, or Latin or Latinx, or whatever, or indigenous, whatever. Whoever you are, it's intersectionality. You have an experience. Collectively, you have probably similar experiences, and then those collective similar experiences are expressed. We learn about them, and we try to do our best, being all different, trying not to, sort of press on those different aspects of our racial differences, which usually come down to just bullshit prejudices, mostly at the hands of course, the classic oppressive group, white folks, which doesn't mean that I'm an oppressive white person for existing. It doesn't mean that I hate my white skin. It doesn't mean that I think that white people are evil. I don't, and they're not. But white people represent, aesthetically, an oppressive class. And that's okay, just historically, to understand that. That's all it is, just understanding that. And then, most importantly, applying that knowledge and trying not to repeat it or let it happen in your spaces. That's it. That's the whole thing. It's not about guilt. It's not about fucking like. It's not about scoring woke points. It's not about oppression Olympics, air quotes, which isn't a thing, by the way. It's literally just let's treat each other better. Let's learn how to treat each other better. Let's have conversations about that, and then moving forward, we'll try to mitigate that where we can. That's it. The whole thing, buddy. All right. Will Michael say woke? We'll see.
So you see this all over the place. Elon University.
Okay.
Is hosting a white caucus.
Not to be mistaken for Elon Musk.
You might think that the KKK is being revived. No. That's not the case. The white caucus is...
Ooh, he did make allusions to racism already.
For white students to, quote, unpack race and systemic oppression. This is what the email from Elon University reads. A white caucus is a space for white-identifying individuals. What's a white-identifying individual? I guess that could be like me, right? I'm sort of swarthy. I've got this Sicilian skin. I guess I could pass for not a white guy, but do I identify as a white guy? I guess.
Wow, he nailed it. That's all it took. It took 2 seconds to go, what is a white person? And then he goes, well, am I a white person? He did say swarthy. He did say Sicilian skin. Sure, he didn't use the greatest words. However, he just did, on accident, the legwork of understanding the conversation. He's going to avoid it because he has a monetary incentive in this, but literally, thank you, State Dragon, for following. Literally, this is all it takes to have that conversation. What is a white person? I don't know. Do you think that white people have a homogenous culture? Because they don't. Like, what's a white person? Well, I know a white person when I see one. So what's a black person? Well, I know a black person when I see one. But sometimes there's people that, obviously, like Michael, he rides sort of a line because he obviously doesn't have porcelain, peachy skin like Corn Boy over here. He clearly has descended from someone with a little bit more melanin down the line, certainly more than me. As you can see, a little Caucasian, if you will. But that doesn't mean he's not white passing, and that's for a variety of reasons. But we just sort of know it when we see it. But we also know when we look at him that he probably descends from somebody that maybe wasn't considered white in the past, right? Isn't that interesting? And why do we consider that white? And what about who he says Sicilian, so I'm going to assume he's telling the truth. What about a Sicilian person needs to be denigrated because of their skin tone? You know what I mean? Like, what about that person is inherently not white in the way that we talk about that? Because Sicily, although separate from Italy, is, of course, still Italian by nature. Sicilians were, of course, considered not white when they first immigrated to the United States. They're not treated like that anymore, and they certainly didn't go through some of the things that other people go through, obviously indigenous, black, and Asian people, Mexican people, and stuff like that. But they still went through some shit for just not passing as white. So like, it's an interesting question, and this is kind of the point of the conversation, Mike, is to understand that these things are rooted in unfounded prejudice, and that's the point of the whole conversation, dude. Like, you almost understood it. Anyway, MN Broodwitch MN, thanks so much for the 4 months. I got tired of having to resub every month, so just put 3 months on repeat. Fuck yeah. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope that wasn't too much for you. You're from Minnesota? Oh, Minnesota, Cornwich. Jake's white? I am. I don't know. This isn't a hard conversation to have. If a black person is albino, would they be white? Just food for thought. I mean, no, but like for different reasons, right? Visually white, but not white because race, and we gotta stick to race. And the reason that person probably wouldn't identify as white is because of the history of systemic racism and how that community has rallied around each other to fight off the white supremacist bullshit and culture shaming. Anyway. LGBTQ+, I'm out. Okay, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Does it mean you don't like that it's tagged under the LGBTQIA plus tag? Or did you just come out in my chat? Like, you're a member. Okay, I guess see ya, I guess. I don't know. I'm out of here. All right. Cool, man. If you want to like if you ever want some friends, come on back because well, you're banned. You're going to have to make a whole new thing. Fun? All right, I'm done. I'm out of here. Only straights for me. I'm very secure. I'm real secure. My name's Goat Spanker 0036, and I'm so secure that I am not going to hang out with people that are gay or something. Yeah, real secure. Fucking weirdo. Anyway. Out or out? True. Anyway.
For white identifying individuals to engage in conversations that unpack race and systemic oppression. Mm-hmm. In this world, wherever you're told that white people are like the worst thing ever and whiteness is a synonym for evil.
What? What? Who says shit like that unironically? Like, there's some people that are like, white people are evil. And, I mean, you know, you basically have to identify as a black nationalist at that point or something like that. But even so, I kind of get, like, I get it from an emotional standpoint. It doesn't make sense to, like, live your life that way day to day. Because, like, hi, I'm pretty dope. I might be in the minority of white people that are cool, but that's fine. You know, you don't want to denigrate anybody just based on their inherentness. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that said, like very few. It's a deep minority of the minority that people consider white people evil. Like, this is most of that happens is either like a hardcore black nationalist or a really performative like liberal that's like, ooh, I bow to black people, and you like lick their toes and shit. That's just weird, dude. You're not a leftist. You're just a weirdo. That's just strange. Like, it's intersectionality, not fucking proselytizing, or not proselytizing, prostrating yourself. Like, ugh. It's kind of the you know, the feminist guy that you all know that, like, is like, ooh, yeah, I'll listen to whatever the mommy says. I will agree with everything mommy says at all times. Mommy, I agree with you. Yes. Oh, please don't reprimand me, mommy. I'm sorry, I was doing the good. It's the same bullshit. It's patronizing. Like, do you like black folks or indigenous folks or Asian folks or just non-white folks in general, like, but Americans, because the rest of you don't count, but Americans specifically, because this is like a cultural sort of phenomenon here. Do you really want me to like eat, like kiss your ass every fucking waking moment? Like, that would be so fucking patronizing to live under. That's so fucking patronizing. Like, you're a person, dude. like, who fucking wants that shit? That happens all the time. Like if you identify as a woman, there's a high chance that you've experienced this at the hands of like some sort of like feminist man. And then there's this sort of like Jerry shit. Like, it just feels strange, right? It's just not cool. So just don't do that. Yeah, I'm not a token for your guilt. Exactly. It's just as fucked up as doing it anyway. And like, so no leftist does this. Michael Knowles, like, really, it doesn't happen. Michael Knowles is not aware of these conversations that happen. That sound was a perfect description. Yeah, it really is.
Who would choose to identify as a white person? I don't know. This is why, by the way, the
What do you mean, who would choose to identify as a white person? What?
Sort of public acceptability or even encouragement of castigating whiteness as a category. This is why you get the Rachel Dolezals of the world.
Dolezal didn't pretend to be black because she thought being white was evil. What? The Rachel Dolezal thing is a microcosm unto itself, man.
This is why it seems every month or so you find another person who's, a gender theory professor or a critical studies professor who's been pretending to be Hispanic or black for their whole lives. It turns out they're just white people.
What? This is not a thing. Stardew session's all done. What did I miss? Hell yeah, Tasha. Bad shit. Like, so like 5 total people in ever. Like I've heard of like 2 of these people. Like this is not a thing.
Because they're trying to identify as another race.
I literally can't name another person.
Because they've been told that
I know there is
white
one.
Is a very bad thing. The email goes on. White caucuses allow white identifying allies to have these conversations in a way that does not burden or re-traumatize people of color. Re-traumatize.
Look, I would prefer if the conversations that white people were having about race involved non-white people so that they could get the correct perspective. But I mean, sure, if you want to have a little space where you have that discussion and you're trying to understand how not to be like racist, I guess. I don't really know who this serves, but if you're only having like white people talk about it, it might be a little bit not a reasonable conversation, but I don't know. It just depends on what the conversation is. If you're talking about like fucking, I don't know, if you just have to hear the N-word a bunch, I suppose. Yeah. Dr. Cletus, thanks for following. Yeah, I don't really know. Racism is traumatizing, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised. It just depends on how it manifests, I suppose. Like, I don't really know.
White caucuses give white people a space to learn about and process their awareness of and complicity in unjust systems without harming their friends of color. A lot of woke white liberals.
Oh, he did it! There it is, chat. He said it. Boom! Get your copies in chat for the woke. Wokers win. Wokers, you just won. Crushed it.
Believe this sort of thing. It's very sad. It just is sad. If you were to grow up, actually, I guess from the same ideology, if you were to grow up and be told, because I'm black, I cannot succeed.
That's not what the conversation is. What? The conversation has never been, if you're black, you can't succeed. What are you talking about? The conversation is literally, hey, there are people out there that denigrate you for some inherent aspect of your demographic makeup. Sometimes it's race, sometimes it's something else, your sexuality, your whatever. That exists. The point of the conversation is not to warn you and to tell you that you might have a rough go of it, though people should be prepared for such a thing. The point of the conversation is to stop the people doing the oppressing from oppressing. That's what the conversation's for. It's not, you can't do anything because you're black. It's look, hey, sometimes there's going to be people out there that are going to treat you a little differently because of the way you look. That's just how it is, and we're trying to fix it. But I need you to be prepared for this because I want you to be safe and I love you. That's literally all it is. Parents or community members who talk to people and warn people about this. Like, if you are black and you are in my chat right now, you have had this discussion at some point. You have had the discussion about how to deal with police. White people do not have that discussion. We don't. We don't have a discussion. Our parents do not sit us down and go, look, you might be fucking shot to death if you don't take care of this in the way that it needs to be taken care of. We don't have that. If you're black, that's an experience that I've never had. And I wouldn't have learned that had I not talked to black people and listened to their life. Like, most black people report that they have that. It's in America, and that's pretty common. Like, we just have a problem with police and their interactions with black communities. That's a fact. It's just real. I've already had talked to my 9-year-old. Exactly. Like, it's sad. It's a sad reality. But it's not you can't accomplish things because of the way you look. Has Bobby Fino ever told you stories? Oh, yeah, you guys should check out Sunday Service. We talk about that all the time. Keep your hands up. Never talk back. Never put your hands in your pockets. Always say, yes, sir, ma'am. No, sir, ma'am. Ugh, and don't say it's out too late. Jesus. Yeah. 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 I just, it's, no one's telling black people in good faith, like in a loving way, unless you're being a dick. No one is saying, hey, you can't be who you want. People are saying that there's just going to be hurdles. And there's also it's getting better, but I mean, like, if you grew up when I grew up and you're in your 30s or in your late 20s, I mean, like, we lived through the 90s. Race riots happened a lot. Like, they were things. They're still things. This is not new. I went a little walk in there. This is not new. Race riots are happening. Fuck. No, wrong button.
I can't get ahead. The system is just out to get me. People who push this idea are like Ta-Nehisi Coates, who is a very wealthy, very famous, very admired writer. Why he is admired, I have no idea, but he's admired by all the very fancy people. He wins $500,000 MacArthur Genius Grants. And his message is basically the whole system is rigged against black people and they can't do anything.
I don't know who Ta-Nehisi. Did you say Ta-Nehisi Coates? I don't. Condor Heezy Coates is what popped up. Condor Heezy Coates. Does anyone know how to spell that? I've never heard of this person. Ta-Nehisi Coates. Oh, Ta-Nehisi. I said it wrong. Ta-Nehisi Coates is a writer. He's good. Let's look it up. Let's look up this individual because I've never heard of. Ta-Nehisi Coates. Ta-Nehisi Paul Coates is an American author and journalist. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see a quote. Quotes from like Quote Genius or something. All right, let's just look at some quotes. The classroom was a jail of other people's interests. The library was open, unending, free. Oh, that's cute. But race is a child of racism, not the father. Ooh. And the process of naming the people has never been a matter of genealogy and physiognomy. So much as one of hierarchy. Difference in hue and hair is old, but the belief in the preeminence of hue and hair, the notion that these factors can correctly organize a society, and that they signify deeper attributes which are indelible. This is the new idea at the heart of these new people who have been brought up hopelessly, tragically, deceitfully, to believe that they are white. Fucking based. I'm liking this. I agree. Ta-Nehisi. Ta-Nehisi? 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 I'm not seeing a Hazi. I thought it was Ta-Nehisi. Anyway, I believe you, but Ta-Nehisi just doesn't look. You are growing into consciousness, and my wish for you is that you feel no need to constrict yourself to make other people comfortable. True. I would not have you, unless that means being a dick to them, but that's not what that means. I would not have you descend into your own dream. I would have you be a conscious citizen of this terrible and beautiful world. True. Let's do a couple more, because I'm liking this. But all our phrasing, race relations, racial chasm, racial justice, racial profiling, white privilege, even white supremacy, serves to obscure that racism is a visceral experience, that it dislodges brains, blocks airways, rips muscles, extracts organs, cracks bones, breaks teeth. You must never look away from this. You must always remember that the sociology, the history, the economics, the graphs, the charts, the regressions all land with great violence upon the body. You must resist the common urge toward the comforting narrative of divine law, toward fairy tales that imply some irrepressible justice. The enslaved were not bricks in your road, and their lives were not chapters in your redemptive history. They were people to fuel for the American machine. Enslavement was not destined to end, and it is wrong to claim our present circumstance, no matter how improved, as the redemption for the lives of the people who never asked for the posthumous, untouchable glory of dying for their children. Our triumphs can never compensate for this. That's awesome. These are beautiful words. How can you be against this? These are beautiful words. Yeah. Very, very impressed with that. So, that's the context of the person Michael Knowles doesn't like.
It's a horrible message to tell somebody.
By the way, he never said any of those things.
And it's manifestly a lie, right? Ta-Nehisi Coates' life is evidence that that's a lie.
Oh, my God.
In the same way, how awful is it to tell some white kid, yeah, man, you're evil, you're awful because of the color of your skin?
No one's telling a white kid that thing.
We're not saying you're oppressed. We're saying you're the oppressor. You're just a vile, vicious, evil person. And there's no way you can ever fix it because you are white. You know, you participate in this thing called whiteness, which has become a synonym for evil.
It really hasn't. This isn't the conversation. What are you talking about? They just make up reality, dude. They just make it up. I'm fucking white, bro. Look, I'm white as fuck, dude. What are you talking about? I wore a Caucasian's sweatshirt the other day. Bunch of white guys got hella mad. Imagine the fucking hypocrisy of that shit. Hey, I like mayo. It's delicious. Comfy bruh. Thanks for the 3 months, dude. No one is telling white people that they're inherently evil. And if they are, they're usually pretty extreme. And if you pressed them on it, I bet they wouldn't actually follow through with that. Some people are like that, but very few. Very, very few. Certainly not mainstream leftists.
That's a horrible thing to tell kids. I don't know. I guess I'm immune to what liberals might call white guilt.
What are you talking about? I don't have any white guilt, bro. What are you talking about? I don't have guilt for being white, dude. Oh, my God. Understanding our history is not white guilt. I do not feel guilty for being a white guy in America. I don't feel guilt at all. What I feel is an intersectional responsibility to not allow the perpetuation of bigotry in the spaces that I curate. Whether that's in my home, in my friends group, in my chat, whatever. My family, if I can help it. Like my extended family. Like, that's it. That's just I feel like that's a responsibility we all have. Is to just curate a kind place for everyone. If you start becoming an asshole, that's when you get called out. Like, what? It's weird. Sometimes there'll be like a conservative black guy. Like this literally happened the other day. That guy that looked like the Coomer meme. If you follow me on Twitter, you know who I'm talking about. He was a black guy, and he said some dumb shit about like the Mass Effect 3 butt censorship. Then I had a bunch of his followers, of which he had, you know, he had like what, like a 4,000 follower account or something like that, which I mean isn't small, but it's certainly not like a big deal, right? And so there was enough people to reply, and like a few of them were like, "Oh, that's a black person. What are you, racist now?" It's like, wouldn't it be racist to be 100% deferential to anything a black person said? Like, what? Oh, you're black, so you're correct. That's just as racist. Like, it's just sort of this positive bigotry that a lot of people do that I was talking about earlier. Like, did you know that anyone, irrespective of their demographic, statistical makeup, can be a dog shit person or a fantastic person? Isn't that weird? Super strange that you would consider that an obstacle.
You know, I don't feel guilt because of my skin color. I don't feel
Me either, bro.
pride, racial pride. I don't really take glory or shame in the color of my skin. But increasingly, this is what we're told to do. It's not just at Elon University, Purdue University.
No, you're not told to be shameful of your skin color. And if someone does say you should be shameful of your skin color, they have the wrong take. The take again is just that if you, and I guess if we expand this out, if you have like a platform or you have the privilege or the bandwidth in your life to advocate on behalf of somebody else, you should do so without centering yourself, of course. If you just like try to make sure that your space isn't racist, try to make sure that it's welcoming to people, try to make sure that you have empathy for other people until they break that sort of trust. Like if someone is, again, I don't know, the Hodge twins are a good example of this. Like they're black twins. They live in the South. They certainly descend from, if they're a Southern African American people, they certainly descend from someone who was oppressed. I would imagine. I'd be pretty surprised if they didn't. And they have no empathy for that whatsoever, and it's really weird. I'm not going to be deferential to them just because they're that, right? Like they didn't have, like, those guys couldn't sit at the same restaurant with me in their home state of, I believe, Texas, if I was my mom's age and I was 10 years old or something like that. You know what I mean? They would have to sit in a totally different spot. Like, how do you not like understand that, like, contextually speaking, just from a historical perspective, like, human rights are brand new for black people. Like people that are my age or like 50 years, if you know a black person older than, like, what, 60? They didn't have fucking, like, rights, dude. Like, what? That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. Was it 53 now at this point? I don't remember. I can't do math in my head. But like that's nuts to think about. Like, think about that. If you're a white person, right? Indigenous people deal with this a lot every day, of course. And I think at this point we need to really start thinking about indigenous folks, and really, really hammering that, because that is a really bad situation. But black people, under the law, if you are my age, your parents and definitely your grandparents, remember not being literally legal under the law. They remember it. Isn't that nuts? Like, that's wild. I can't even comprehend that. Like, from like my own personal experience, I've never been like that ever once. Of course, right? But, like, that's normal to grow up. If you are a black person, it's normal to grow up in America and know people that didn't have rights their whole life and recall it. I don't know how that doesn't leak through.
Was just proposing a mandatory class in anti-racist thought. What is anti-racist thought? It's racist thought. I know. Isn't that ironic?
It's not. So what? Anti-racism isn't saying that, like, white people are bad. Anti-racism is saying, hey, don't allow racism in your space. That's it. It's not enough for you to not be engaging in racist rhetoric. You also have to, or ought to, rather. You also ought to, if racism is occurring nearby you or in your home or in your community or whatever, and you see it, you should take steps to have it not continue. That's it. That's what anti-racism is.
The Purdue Musical Organization,
like stopping your friend from saying a racist joke. That's the whole thing. That's what anti-racism is.
Announced in January its members would be required to complete 6 classes on anti-racist thought. Okay. This includes white privilege.
Okay, so white privilege. We'll go over all of these because I don't know that he's going to define them. White privilege, of course, is just the idea and the factual idea that in America, as it is structured, and this is dimming every day, hopefully. But I have a lack of hurdles that I have to, jump in society because I look a certain way, because I pass a certain way, right? It's not saying that I have I'm destined for glory, or that I will absolutely, definitely, 100% be successful in life. That's not what white privilege means. And it doesn't mean that black people don't have any privileges, or that white homeless people are super privileged and what they don't make any sense. No. It just means that insofar as your skin is concerned, it is not held against you. Usually, that's it. That's white privilege. Done. America is a continent. Okay, dude. Major Dub, thanks for the 10 months.
White supremacy.
White supremacy is, of course, the unfounded belief that your white race makes you somehow inherently more virtuous, better, or just superior in whatever way that might manifest in your head.
White fragility.
White fragility is the concept that when you call somebody out that is white on an aspect of their privilege, they can't fucking handle it. Kind of think that's what's going on here.
And white saviorism and how to be a better ally.
White saviorism. White saviorism. White saviorism is when you center yourself in a space of advocacy, right? You think, no, black people, step aside. I, the white, will take care of this. Good white saviors in popular culture are things like John Smith in Pocahontas, the Sam Worthington character in Space Pocahontas, Avatar, the white savior in Forest Non-Space Avatar, Fern Gully, Last Samurai, Tom Cruise, stuff like that. Happens all the time. Yeah. Atticus from Kill a Mockingbird, yep.
According to emails that were seen by the
Dances with Wolves, Last of the Mohicans, all these things.
Washington Free Beacon. They have backed off of this since the emails came out. These courses would have been taught by well-known con artists.
White teacher in an urban school trope, yep. The Blind Side, yep. Literally all of this stuff, yeah.
It's Ibram Kendi and Robin DiAngelo. They were supposed to start this month. They've now been postponed.
Okay.
This is Purdue. Purdue's a pretty conservative university. Purdue is run by Mitch Daniels, former Republican governor of Indiana.
Thrace Fulton, thanks for the 50 bitties. Hey, fuck you.
Very
Avatar in space is space, Fern Gully. It's both.
Intelligent. Has a keen understanding of education. Even he is being forced to adopt, in some ways, this vicious, vile, bigoted sort of stuff.
It's vicious, vile, and bigoted.
It's sort of trite at this point to even say it. It's glib to say it, so I don't even want to. But to say, imagine if there were a course called Black Privilege or Black Supremacy or Black Fragility. Oh my God, could you imagine?
But those aren't problems. If they were problems, yeah, that'd be fine. But they're not problems. It's not a thing. Imagine if we drank air and breathed water. What? Those don't do those things. Okay.
But that's not the way it works. Because, as our friend told us, Henry Knox, at the top of the show, my favorite comment yesterday, when victimhood is currency, there's going to be a lot of counterfeiters.
That's a good line. When victimhood is currency, there's going to be a lot of counterfeiters. Now, who would that apply to? If we had to think of one group of people that apply victimhood on themselves the most, who would you say that currency was spent on the most? Okay, all right.
When victimhood becomes the currency of a society, then victimhood is actually going to become a privilege, and people are going to claim victimhood as best they can.
Okay, buddy. All right. Thanks so much, Michael. So yeah, he did say woke. He is an idiot. He doesn't understand any of the things, of course. I'm not surprised. It's just how he fucking works. It's just how he works. Michael Knowles is trash, dude.